Hello and welcome back to Glass Cannon, and we are going to be declaring war on the Aserai. Now this is actually not something that I was wanting to do really, but as you can see, my vassals came to us with a decision and they basically all voted to do it. So that's exactly what we are going to be doing now. We're going to be attacking the Aserai, and this is a really bad strategical decision in many different ways, but as I said, I can't really do much about it. If I wanted to try and oppose it, it just wouldn't make any difference. It really wouldn't, and yeah, as you can actually clearly tell, I was right smack dab in the middle of Vlandian territory, because my initial plan, believe it or not, for this episode was to try and eliminate the Vlandians from the game, because logically that's the next best target, at least in my opinion, because then that's going to further consolidate our territory. It's going to make everything much easier to defend, and it's also going to make our caravans and trade skills and economy just that much better as well. But unfortunately, that will not be happening this time around. So you can see here, this is what's currently going on with our diplomacy with the Aserai. This is their combat strength, this is our combat strength. We're pretty, I mean, personally, I feel like we're pretty good at overpowering the opponent, but it is going to be a little bit tricky because the Aserai, as we know, is actually pretty strong. They do have some pretty good units and everything. The Northern Empire, on the other hand, is very scary. They have a lot of total combat strength here. The Khuzait is kind of similar, not too bad, to the Aserai. Western Empire is a little bit stronger than them. The Batanians are obviously basically done, and the Southern Empire is probably doing the worst alongside the Vlandians. Sturgia, surprisingly enough, is actually doing very well. And you might think that that's kind of surprising, because usually they get beaten up by the Khuzait by a pretty significant margin. But this time around, they're actually holding their own, and they have a pretty sizable amount more territory than them, which is really surprising to me. I don't know how they were able to do that. But, well, I guess cool, right? Cool nevertheless for them. Anyway, I've done a little bit of something here as well. I have basically tried to recruit as many caravans as I can, and obviously with the new declaration of war, they are now, well, they're probably going to all get eliminated at some point, but hopefully before that happens, we will be able to gain a significant amount of trade skill. I actually have 100 and something now, like 101 or 102 or something like that. So that's actually kind of decent. I don't think that's too bad, but obviously, you know, to actually take advantage of trade skill, we need 300, which is, yeah, that's going to take a long time. So I wouldn't expect any kind of benefit to come from it right away. But hopefully we're going to be seeing something in due time. But yes, apart from that, I have, of course, attempted to try and install some new mods. And namely, there are two mods that I wanted to get that were recommended by people in the comments. One of them is, it's called something like Perfect Fire Arrows or something along those lines. There will be a link in the description, by the way, so if you want to check it out, it's down below. And similarly with a mod called Army Arrow Counter, or something like that, basically similar to that. And again, there will be a link down below if you want to download it yourself. And obviously for an army that is almost entirely consisting of archers, it's probably a good idea to have a mod that does that, right? And also a mod that has wonderful cinematic implications as well. So for example, the fire arrows thing is going to be really fun to see. And for some reason, all of these Aserai vassals are able to escape me incredibly easily. I'm not sure why that's happening right now, but it is very frustrating, as you can quite clearly tell. You know, I literally just want to take this castle just to eliminate that guy, because he has frustrated me multiple times now, and, well, hopefully we'll be able to get Unqid at least. It seems like he's a little bit slower than us at the very least, so that's not too bad. Okay, hello there, sir. Let us fight. Let us fight and see what we can do. Alright, so this is going to be kind of interesting because I haven't actually fought anyone in the entire time that I've been off screen. I've been doing auto-resolves almost entirely because I would just like to try and maximize the amount of... Whoa! Okay, yeah. Maximize the amount of experience that I'm gaining and to waste as little time as possible. Okay, I have almost 15,000 arrows in my army, and I am very impressed by that number. Wow. Is that a sight to see, or is that a sight to see? I don't know what... I feel like that's super impressive. It looks super impressive, even though they're not really getting that many kills, and that's actually kind of disappointing in many regards, but... Well, I guess we can't really, you know... We can't really say, you know, that sucks or whatever, because generally... I, personally, am not very easily able to get kills either, so... maybe it's just archers in general being a little bit... difficult to handle at the moment, but yeah, I love this mod, the arrow counter mod. I mean, really, that is so nice. I'm actually really surprised that there's a real-time updating mod that does something like this, that actually counts the amount of arrows that you have in your army. I would never have expected something so detailed. I would have thought that, you know, they'd probably give you like a sort of binary system where it's basically just like, oh, okay, do your archers have arrows? Yes. Do your archers not have arrows? Well, no, yes, no, you know, sort of thing, rather than an actual counter. I feel like that is amazing. That's really cool. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to see the perfect night arrows at the moment, or fire arrows. I don't think. I mean, at the very least, I don't think we're going to be able to see them because it is daytime, of course. But, yeah, I think it's going to be really cool if I actually do get into a nighttime battle. I might just go into a nighttime battle just so that I can see whether it's working, because it might actually not even be working at the moment. Maybe I need to customize it or something like that. But yeah, my forces are absolutely going to destroy the enemy right now. And I'm pretty happy with that. And yeah, I don't even know why I was worried beforehand, because I was literally saying to you in a previous episode, do we still have arrows? You know, do my people still have arrows? And I was basically just worrying about that the whole time. And it's very amusing for me to say that at that point, because if you take a look at the you know, the arrow counter right now, you can quite clearly tell that even when we have eliminated, what, how many units? 100 plus units, we still have 10,000, yes, 10,000 arrows remaining. I mean, that's, oof, that is dangerous. That is very dangerous indeed. And I was able to actually defeat the Sultan of the, I was about to say of the Saranids. No, it's not the Saranids, but it is the Aserai. Why did I forget that for some reason? Anyway, I'm actually going to take this guy prisoner. Now, generally, I would not do this if it was a different vassal. But because it's the leader of the Aserai, I feel like it is making a whole bunch of sense for me to take him prisoner right now. And what we're going to do is we're just going to level up our forces real quick. Yeah, you may actually notice that I have a lot more money. The reason why I have a lot more money is because I basically just sold everything in my inventory, and I'm telling you, everything. So I sold my weapons, I sold my armor, I sold the shields and thrown weapons and all that stuff, and it came out to about 200,000. So I basically just sold all of that because I knew that I was going to get into a maybe possibly extended conflict with the Flandians. That was my initial plan, of course, as I told you. And well, obviously, unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. So I guess we're using my war fund in our efforts to defeat the Aserai now, which I suppose is not that bad, right? Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. Anyway, we're going to take this guy in a battle. I'm actually wondering whether we should even just auto-resolve against him, but I don't know whether that's worth it right now, because we're going to lose some units quite easily as a result of that. So it might be a better idea to just go straight on in here and see what happens. This is, this is one of those times where I absolutely adore fighting in the dunes, and I mean that's actually kind of a thing that I've said multiple times in various series. I actually really like fighting in Aserai territory. I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's probably the contrast, because there's actually a name of a mod back in Warband that kind of embodies the rather cool atmosphere and, shall we say, cinematic moments that you might get while fighting in the dunes, and that's blood and sand. And it kind of makes sense, right? Because obviously, if it's a battle, then obviously there's going to be blood spilled, and the contrast between the blood, the dark armor, and the various shields and weapons and arrows strewn about the place, and the light color of the sand, it really has pretty spectacular visuals to go along with it. I very much appreciate that. Anyway, my archers are, well, quite clearly just absolutely murdering the opponent. This guy really didn't have anything on us, unfortunately for him. Oh, the AI is just so good at blocking. It's just absolutely impossible for me to actually even get any attacks with my two-handed in. And someone has actually suggested that I make a two-handed axe, because obviously a two-handed axe is much better at destroying shields. And while that may be true, I don't know whether it's, I don't know whether it's a good idea, because generally I'm not that big a fan of fighting with two-handed axes. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a go. And it might be quite fun. I'm not sure. Anyway, Melodia is now attempting to take Kuyaz, which is absolutely fantastic. I am actually consistently surprised by my vassals in this series and how, shall we say, somewhat smart they are. And it's kind of a case of, oh, I didn't realize they were going to do that. It's always a consistent surprise whenever they do something relatively helpful. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or whether that's a bad thing, because let's face it, you don't really want to be constantly surprised by the AI doing something good, do you? I mean, you kind of want to be like, oh yes, I am 100% certain, or at least very certain, that they're going to assist me in my efforts to capture X place, that sort of thing. Anyway, I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a similar strategy to what we did last time, which is basically just build a bunch of siege equipment, try to build some trebuchets, get everything destroyed on the walls, and maybe even destroy the walls themselves, and then just go in there and just take it really easily, because I'm not really under huge amounts of pressure at the moment. If Melodia gets into a battle against a large army, then I'll probably try and help him out, and in which case I might even abandon the siege that I'm currently doing, because I really don't want him to be defeated. But no, it seems like he's absolutely fine, and he was able to take Kuyaz without too many difficulties. So yeah, that's good. But we are not really under a huge amount of pressure at the moment by outside influences. Like, there's only one guy right here at the moment. 2 guys now. Okay, yeah, sure. I'm still not really feeling too much pressure. He says, as a 1,200 strong army comes out of nowhere. What do you bet? Is that going to happen? I don't know. Probably not at the moment. But yeah, we're just going to let our trebuchets do some damage. And this is going to be pretty easy, hopefully, for us. Even though ballistas, in my opinion, probably ballistas are the best siege equipment for them to use. But even if they are... Oh, they're actually going to go in here? Okay, I'm very surprised. Alright, sir. I mean, they do outnumber me. They do outnumber me by, I don't know, pretty good margin, but I really don't think that's going to really do too much. Every profitable caravan gives you 1 renown per day. Yes, I will indeed do that. Actually, increasing the recruitment slots when recruiting from merchant notables. In my opinion, this is an absolutely wonderful, wonderful skill. Wonderful perk to take, but it is requiring you to be the quartermaster of your party, as far as I'm aware. As you can see, it does get tagged under the quartermaster label, so you would need to be the quartermaster in that case, and obviously we are not, because we only have 42 in steward, and I believe Kulan is actually our quartermaster because he has a decent amount of steward, so he's going to be the one that would need to take this if it's going to give us the benefit from it. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. So generally, I don't think it's worth me taking this, even though workshops, in my opinion, are a little bit more stable than caravans, but I'm going to take the caravan one because I just have so many caravans right now. It makes much more sense. If I had a lot of workshops up and running, so for example in Galend and in our first initial base that we took, and a number of other Vlandian towns, then it would obviously be a lot easier. Anyway, this is going to be a little bit difficult because we are outnumbered, of course. It is 3-2, pretty much, and I'm very much hoping... Oh wow, this is a really easy victory for us, I think. And I know I say that, and I think, oh yeah, I mean, it's going to be slightly easier because of the fact that my archers are just so damaging. But you've also got to bear in mind that the environment itself is so incredibly advantageous for us. And I'm talking about mostly because it's just flat. It's just a hugely flat battlefield, and it's actually kind of crazy. I actually saw some people talking about the environment and how I was like fighting with that strategy, the strategy that I was talking about before, where I personally think that it's probably one of the most powerful strategies I've seen, which is to basically hide your archers in an indent in the terrain, and then just have enemies peek over the various hills and other places, and then have your archers just shoot them instantly, killing them very fast. That, in my opinion, is probably the most effective, even though I know there's been a lot of debate, and this is generally an ongoing conversation. Does height advantage actually help archers to be more effective? That is a question that has actually been going on. I believe someone actually made an analysis on that. And generally, I think it depends. I think it depends most of the time. I agree that height advantage definitely will make a pretty big difference in some aspects. For example, if I am on a hill with my army at the moment, if I'm on a hill and I'm up against the Khuzait and they have all cavalry, then yes, being on a hill is definitely a good thing to do. However, if you are up against someone like the Sturgians or maybe the Britannians, some people that don't really focus on cavalry too much, then in my opinion, being in a valley sort of thing, being in a valley and being a little bit lower than your opponent, and having the enemy use, well, shall we say, having the enemy forced into a blocked line of sight situation. I'm not going to be able to explain this as effectively as I want to, but basically what I'm trying to say is, if I actually force the enemy into a situation where they can't see me and I can't see them until they peek their heads over that small little hilltop, and as soon as they poke their heads up, my extremely accurate archers are just going to be shooting and streaming those arrows all the way towards them. It's going to do so much damage, because if you just take a couple of units, a handful of units, and those handful of units get murdered by 30 archers or 40 archers, or in my case, almost 200, actually over 200 archers, all firing at 10, 15, 20, 30 units at once, those units are going to die almost instantaneously. And that is the main reason why I said that the sort of indent strategy can be very effective, but obviously if you're trying to use that strategy against cavalry, it's maybe not as effective, because obviously the cavalry can use their speed against you, and it's going to be a bit a bit touch and go potentially. But you know, that's basically what I was wanting to sort of impart to you. But generally, yes, if you're up against cavalry, I think height advantage is very important. But if you're not up against cavalry or a majority cavalry force, then I think the indent strategy is better. But that's just my own personal preference and what I've experienced in my campaigns. Your experience may be different, and other people's as well. So that's just something to consider. Anyway, I think I'm probably going to be going into the siege relatively soon. I don't want another vassal to turn up. And I'm actually going to try and fight at nighttime. It is kind of nighttime right now. I know I said I wouldn't fight at nighttime as much as I possibly can because you might not be able to see, but I do have the perfect fire arrows mod installed, and I wouldn't mind actually taking a look and seeing how cool it actually is. So let's see whether I can actually see that in action. I actually don't know. Oh yeah, it is working. Look. Oh, now that's cool. That is real cool. Unfortunately, my archers are not going to be that effective in in this siege. I mean, to be honest, I mean, you know, they're going to be just as effective as they normally are, but we can see their arrows so much easier because they're using fire arrows. This is so fun. Do I have fire arrows too? I do have fire arrows. Oh my. Okay, that is... Oh, now that is cool. I really wish I had fire arrows all the time. Maybe there's actually a customization option. There might be a customization option in the files or something like that that I can do. Oh yeah, speaking of customizations, I actually wanted to tell you that I made it so that my vassals can now recruit my little warband units. And someone actually asked me if I could show you how to do that. Okay, so here's the thing. I can't do it in the game. It's actually not something that you can do in the game as far as I'm aware, but it is something that you can do in the game files itself. So you have to go into Windows Explorer, if you're using Windows that is, and you have to just find the My Little Warband folder in your game directory, basically, and you just go into the settings.xml file, and then you can pretty much just open that with Notepad or whatever, you know, some Word documentation sort of thing, and then you can pretty much just change the setting in there to true from false, and you're done. That's it. And then you save the thing, and then you close it, and then it should be working as intended. But yeah, it's a very, very simple thing to implement, and yeah, you should be able to find it without too many difficulties. But yeah, they've made it very easy to customize, and I very much appreciate that, because generally modding and programming and all that stuff, I know very little about it. I have a very basic knowledge of all that stuff, so making it as easy as possible for someone like me is obviously very nice. But yeah, we're hopefully going to be able to see some vassals running around with some bear assassins potentially soon. Obviously, it's probably not going to happen that soon because, you know, bear assassins are the highest tier of unit, but it's going to be super fun to see them running around with some of our units eventually, and hopefully they'll have armies consisting of entirely our forces, which is going to be real fun to find out. So yeah, we'll be able to see them in action too. I don't know how effective they're actually going to be though, because bear in mind we are playing, well, quite a bit differently than the AI possibly will, which is a little worrying to me. And I found some better armor. Really? I actually found better armor? I could not believe that if you told me. Okay, there you go. Not too bad. Alright, let's show mercy. Not going to claim the thief. I'm going to resolve the owner. What? They want to give this to me? Are you serious? Why would you want to give this to me? This doesn't make sense. Okay, I'm going to give this to... actually, none of them. I actually will take it myself, but I'm not going to keep it. And I think you know the reason for that. So I'm actually going to take it. I'm going to try... Oh, I wanted to persuade a vassal. I won't be able to do that, but I will be able to potentially recruit an Aserai companion, make him or her into a vassal, and then award kuyas to them, and then they can do their very best. I think that would probably be better. Don't you think? Yeah, I think that would probably be quite fun. Anyway, let's go into the garrison here, and I'll just place a bunch of the various spare units that we have in there. There we are. Do I really not have any noble units? No, I literally do not. I just have bear assassins and bear snipers, and that's it. That is actually hilarious. I wouldn't have expected that in a million years, but apparently, yes, indeed, we are, well, I guess doing okay, but yeah, we're doing some very, very funny stuff right there. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Okay, so let's go over to Kuyas real fast, and I will be trying to recruit some more units. I actually have 313 maximum company size. Okay, I must have leveled up my clan tier? No, that was a while ago. Okay, so what actually happened? That's kind of interesting. I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but anyway, I'm just going to stop all the construction here, start this thing so we can get some loyalty going. And let's see. Okay, so I actually really want a... I might have to look... I might have to look through the encyclopedia. I think that is probably going to be necessary at this point. Okay, sell all of this. I don't really want to sell all that just yet. We got another 50,000. That's pretty nice. Okay, so yeah, we're going to look through the encyclopedia. So we're going to have a look at Alive, Aserai Culture, Wanderers. Okay, so we're going to have to take a look here. I actually have, amazingly enough, 2 people from the Aserai culture that are part of Beartilled, the Beartilled clan right now. Ooh, she's good. Yeah, I quite like her. Okay, I quite like her. Let's get her. So we're going to just send a messenger to her real quick. One of my caravans was just taken prisoner, which is somewhat unfortunate. He has been released. Why is my messenger taking so long to get to this person? This is kind of weird. Okay. Really? I mean, we've never seen her before, but that shouldn't make any difference, right? Huh. Okay. Well, if I don't... I suppose if I don't want her, or if I don't get her, then maybe I should try for this guy? I mean, he's got some pretty decent stats. Oh, no, there we go, there we go. Okay, so my messenger finally arrived. All right, let's skip the pleasantries. We'll just get her for 473, and I should probably go... Do I need to give her gear before I send her off into the world? That's the question. I suppose, right? I mean, I suppose that's going to be kind of necessary. So let me actually just do that real fast. Let's just get her a bunch of relatively cheap pieces of gear. There we go. Everything's fine there. We need to give her a shield. Is she a 2-handed weapon user, though? No, she's a 1-handed and a thrown weapon person, too. So we're going to give her a couple of javelins. And we'll give her a shield. There we go. And I think that I feel like that's probably it, right? I feel like she doesn't really need anything else, and that's a quick 30,000 right there. Very nice indeed. And now I am just going to be speaking to her. Let's level up my forces real fast too. Okay, yeah, so we're just going to speak to her real fast, and there we are. Hello there. Wish to reward you for your services. We will give you kuyas, and that's going to cost us 20,000 gold and 500 influence. It's actually kind of nice that we have a decent amount of influence right now. And there you go. Boom. And we're going to call... Oh, no. Oh, dear. Oh, my. Lather the Carpenter. Yeah. I know. I know. Can you tell why I named her that, by the way? Why I named her clan that? If you can, then props to you, because it's a little bit it's a little bit out there, let's just say that. It's a little bit out there, not really, you know, not very understandable or anything like that. It's a bit confusing, but it might be, I don't know, maybe some of you will get it. I don't really know. But I am going to be giving Tuberless Castle to her as well, because it's really, really close by. So it makes sense, right? Definitely makes sense in my opinion, at least. And we're going to be, where there it is, there we are. Okay, so Grant Clan, Tuberless Castle, and there we have it. Okay, fantastic. So she now also has that. Okay, cool. Right, so that's actually really nice. That's a nice start for our expansion into Aserai territory. Melodier is on an absolute rampage at the moment. Look at him. He's taking another castle right now too. And I'm gonna just be... Oh, okay, apparently I have nothing else. Alright, I actually thought I might have leveled up, but no, I haven't really been getting too many kills in this particular episode, which is kind of unfortunate. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.